Hey guys, so if you will have seen on our Instagram page, we had a little bit of a situation last week where Momo got himself stuck in a tree in the middle of the night. And this is our little story of what happened. I'm a little bit upset that I didn't film any of it, but it was after a very long day and it was at 11 or something at night, so...
It wasn't our first thought to get the camera. I'm also not sure how we would have filmed it in the pitch dark, but...
We'll be better next time.
So we have this tree in the back of our property, which is surrounded by a wall. We're not actually sure if it's on our property or the neighbors.
We're also not sure why there's a wall around it.
And to this day, the only cat who knew how to get onto the wall, onto the boundary wall, and who used to hang out near that tree is Ryu. But we weren't too phased about it because he would usually just roll up near the wall and he'd sleep there all day, so he wouldn't really go very far. And recently we had seen that Momo was paying a lot of attention on Ryu when he was going up there. But Momo is not very athletic, so we didn't really think that there was much to worry about. Until last week when...
He didn't come. He usually shows up very quickly when we're feeding them, and I fed them and he wasn't there. So I called him and I went outside because he still wasn't coming, and I called him and I saw that he came from that area. And then we fed them and everything was fine and so on.
And we went to bed. We even went to bed, and then Toby had told me that Momo had come from that area, and being a helicopter mom and being very anxious, I was worried that he might be able to get onto that wall and leave the property. So just to be safe, because he wasn't inside at that point, which is also a little odd for him because he tends to come to bed with us, I went outside and just wanted to call him to see where he'd come from and see if I could check if he was on that wall. So I went to call him and I saw that he jumped down from the wall around that tree. So I tried to makeshift with what we had in the garden and just try and locate the area a little so he couldn't get a good jumping point. And then we did go to bed, and
Usually around 10 or so he joins us in bed, even if he does go outside again after he's eaten. He does come and then spend the rest of the night inside fairly soon. Usually he brings us a cricket or something loudly announcing, and that didn't happen.
Being the anxious person that I am, I decided to get back up and just check if he had made it onto the wall again. And I went outside and I called and he just wouldn't come, which for Momo is super unusual. He's usually he will always come when we call. Even if he was just inside and he just walked a meter outside the house, if we call him, he'll always come back. So I immediately got worried and I started looking with a flashlight around the tree without trying to be too obvious, because of course with the security concerns in South Africa, you always have to be cautious. Even though you're on your own property, you don't want to alert the neighbors and the security companies that something might be wrong.
By then I had also gotten up and I was also shining around with a flashlight, and I shone up into the tree, and what did I see? Two shiny eyes looking back at me, but he was fairly high, probably 6 meters, maybe not quite, 5 or 6 meters up.
Because he was higher up and he came back down. So yeah. I think at the beginning he was a good 6-7 meters off the ground, and that tree hadn't been cut back yet because we usually cut our trees back in winter. So it was very bushy and we basically could just see the eyes, especially because it was also at night. And so we immediately knew, okay, this is going to be a problem. So I got the dry food that we have left over from when we used to feed them that, and I tried to rattle it because he's super food motivated. So I was hoping that even though he is in the tree, most cats can generally get back out. They're just very hesitant to reverse back down the tree. So I thought if I can get the food motivation in, he'll come back.
What was also weird is usually he's very vocal. So it was almost like he knew he had messed up and he was embarrassed or something like that, because he was sitting up there very quiet looking around.
Yeah, he didn't make a sound through the entire thing. So I think for a good half hour, we tried different methods. We called him, we walked away for a little while and waited, see if it's quiet, if he'll come, if we don't make a fuss, he'll come back down. We called from inside, we called from outside, we were under the tree, we tried with toys to wiggle toys at the bottom of the tree to see if he would come down, and nothing was working.
And eventually I was just fed up with it. I had had a long day, I was awake since 3 o'clock, so I got the ladder, put it against the tree, climbed up
the ladder with the flashlight, at which point we were really worried that our neighbor might actually call the security company on us, because that is a suspicious thing to do at night.
But at that point I didn't care. Climbed up, saw him, he was I wouldn't say happy, like he reacted as he's happy. He poofed up and he was like, oh, hello human.
He moved towards Toby as well as much as he could in his current position.
At which point I grabbed him and
just like hugged him to his chest and then walked back down the ladder while
back down the ladder, yeah.
Holding him. And then we locked him in for the rest of the night.
And then this morning, so that happened on Friday. No, it couldn't have been on Friday.
No, it was Thursday evening.
It was Thursday evening, and yesterday we cut back the trees, and this morning we cleared everything.
So we used some chicken wire and some nails and some bricks, and we tried to also basically cat-proof the area around the tree so that he can still get on the wall. That's unavoidable. But hopefully he can't get to the tree trunk and he can't get into the tree to climb up it and get stuck, and he can't get into our neighbor's property through that way either. Hopefully. We'll let you know if our cat proofing works.
Knock on wood. He hasn't gone up today. I've seen him. He jumped up on the wall, but he can't get in the tree. So at least that's good.
And he does seem more hesitant in that area now that he's had a bad experience there as well, which is quite funny. He'll be like really cautious and he'll nearly like belly crawl towards it. Like he knows that he messed up and that area.
He looked like he knew he messed up, because when I went up and I saw him, he got this all like, ooh, hello human, and he poofed up all like excitedly when he saw me.
Thank God you're here, Dad!
Pretty much, yeah. Well, anyways.
So that was our very eventful night.
That was our little story. I'm sure of all the people out there, somebody else must have also rescued their cat out of a tree. We can't be the only one.
Momo is also not the first. I've rescued multiple of our cats out of trees. He is the first to do it at night and in a tree that is particularly difficult to climb into and onto.
Part of me is quite grateful that he did do it at night, because I don't think we would have actually seen him during the day. The only reason we saw him was because of his eyes.
So, no harm, no foul. Everybody got out of it uninjured. Our neighbor doesn't seem to be the wiser, which is great. And yeah.
Please let us know if you have some fun stories like this about your cat getting stuck in a tree.
the dangers of having a backyard, guys.
Yeah, I suppose at times like this I do not envy, but like having an apartment cat does seem like a nice thing, because you don't have to worry about stuff like this. It's also starting to rain now while we're shooting this, so we need to wrap this up quite quickly. So yeah, if you have any stories, please leave them in the comments, and remember to share the video, like it, hit that subscribe button. Go check out our website. We're working on it constantly now. We're busy working on some nice recipes and some DIY stuff that we're going to load on there. And go find us on Instagram at Momo Siamese. And we'll check you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye.